Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend who is currently on the health and care visa, and of course, based on the immigration policies, the proposed changes by the current government, and also the plan of other political parties here in the UK on what they plan to do with immigration if they get into power. And to be honest, it's quite scary, and the major reason why it's scary is because some of these rules or some of these policies that they are planning to implement would definitely impact many immigrants, even those who have got their permanent residence. And I mean, we all know all of those changes Reform UK is planning to put into place. And this got us really talking, immigrant to immigrant, on whether certain things are actually worth doing right now if you're currently a resident in the UK. And I mean, it's no longer news. The wave of people who are trying to even leave the UK to other countries, I mean, it's like jackpot 2.0. Most people are coming to the UK, then you see them also celebrating having to move to countries like Canada, Australia. So it looks like the same excitement they had when they left their home country to the UK is the same excitement they seem to have when they move out of the UK. And obviously, I mean, many of these people have, had loads of issues around, settlement, being able to get a job after their studies, and it's really, disheartening. Now, the conversation basically was then, it's actually worth buying a house if you're still on a visa, because if the policy Reform UK is planning, which I mean, if they get into power, is even those who are already on ILR, we have to start applying for visa every 5 years. And we know the cost of visa in the UK. I mean, we know how much it costs to apply for a visa or renew your visa in the UK. And in as much as I don't agree with some of the things that were said during the press release about how it's expensive for the UK to process ILR application, which I think we pay for ILR application, and we pay about £3,000 per person on ILR. But anyway, that's on the side. Now, the major conversation is actually worth buying a house or investing here in the UK with all of the uncertainty around immigration. That was the conversation I had with a friend yesterday. And, we then talked about someone else we knew who was on the health and care visa. And, about 16 months into the visa, the employer lost their license. And before this happened, they already bought a property here. I mean, they bought a house here in the UK. And for those who know, I mean, buying a house in the UK, it's basically on mortgage, which you have to pay for a while. And they lost their job. They lost their rights to live and work in the UK. Now, the question then is, what happens to the house they've bought? What is the way forward? What does the future looks like for them? And yeah, we understand that there's this kind of common thing in the UK where we're all trying to buy a property, trying to get into the property ladder. But one thing I think I probably would say is it's better to really understand your own situation and let that influence your decision when it comes to making a long-term financial commitment in the UK. So if you've got a sponsorship with a care home, you've got a sponsorship with a care agency, there's a little bit of, I don't want to use the word shakiness on that sponsorship. If the care home or the care agency decide to do things against secrecy, they might lose their sponsorship or their license, which impacts all of those individuals on that sponsorship. However, I mean, this is my own personal thoughts. I think if you get sponsored with NHS, it's a little bit more secured if you don't lose your job based on your own costs, basically. But with NHS, there's still some level of certainty on your sponsorship. The chances of NHS losing their license is close to zero, if you get what I mean, because of the national impact of if the NHS is unable to sponsor overseas applicants. But on the flip side, do you actually think it's worth buying the property or, making a long-term investment in the UK while on a visa? Please, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. There's been lots of conversation about people who have jumped on a one-to-one session with me just to have that conversation. It's actually worth it. And I tell people that before you decide to buy a house or before you decide to say, oh, this person bought a house and we're doing the same job, I can also do the same job. The question is, what sponsorship are you on? Who is your sponsor? Because you don't want to risk investing, because many people who bought a house probably spent close to 90% of their entire savings to paying for the deposit, which is in most situations. Of course, some people don't pay, although spend majority of their savings to get in a property, but most people do that. So it's really important to make sure that you're thinking well, because if something happened and the party we were thinking would not get into power actually get into power, what is the exit plan? That's the first question. Now, people will tell you, oh, but it's a mortgage. I can decide to sell the house. Depending on the city you're living in, selling a house is not something that happens in a day. It's not something that happens in a month. I've seen a couple of properties, whenever I'm driving out, that I had for sale on them for like ages. I mean, I'm talking of 6 months, 7 months. And if push comes to, there's a need for you to leave the UK, would it be easy for you to leave? Would you be able to, get that financial strength to be able to relocate to, your home country or back to your country? Like I said, the question basically was then, should we actually do long-term investments in the UK? Should we buy multiple properties? Should we buy a house, a residential home? Is actually worth it with all of those constant changes in immigration policy? Please, I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And, personally, from my conversation with a friend, he was of the opinion that it kind of makes sense to do more of investment that are can be easily liquefied, that you can easily get your money off. Things like investments, like monetary investments, that you can easily liquidate basically without having to worry about, oh, how do I sell this? Which agent do I need to contact? How much would the agent get? All of those hassle that comes with, having to sell properties and all of that. So it's really a whole lot of conversations. And I tell people, except if you're on post-study work visa or you're on a student visa, except you've got family and you're doing the kind of job that really requires you to buy a car, please, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Because getting a car itself is a whole lot of financial burden, to be honest, ranging from insurance down to road tax, doing the MOT of the car. And if you decide to buy a new car, yearly servicing of the car is a whole lot of financial implications. So if you're here to work, do your job within within the law, of course. Don't do anything against the law, and just save your money as much as possible. Invest in things that can be easily, that you can easily, liquefied, and just kind of protect your financial strength if there's a need for you to uproot yourself from the country, because it's really, really stressful with all of this whole immigration. Even the one in power, the party in power, they're also planning to increase ILR from 5 years to 10 years, which is really, really stressful. It makes it really difficult for so many people to be able to make like long-term plan, long-term decisions, because of the uncertainty that really comes with the UK visa. But anyway, I guess that's the situation we've got to live with at the moment. So even those who have been able to get a job, get on a skilled worker visa, are still not safe. And even those that haven't gone through the whole hassle of paying their taxes, staying here for a long time, getting the ILR, they're still not safe if you from UK get into power. But anyway, that's just me kind of reflecting on my conversation with a friend yesterday, and how you have to think hard before you make any long-term commitment here in the UK. Yeah, please let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this old saga of immigration policies around the UK at the moment? And yeah, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Dan. I share everything UK immigration, transition into tech and personal finance on this channel. So do well to hit on the subscribe button anywhere you're seeing it, to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.